Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Wet Gains podcast, a part of the Wet Brains podcast. I am joined again today by your boy Alex. What's up, man? How are you?
All good, all good. Just a bit like tired, but nothing different than usual.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What'd you get up to today?
Um, Grocery shopping, buying the health food. You know,
Hell yeah.
yeah, because wealth is health, and I'm trying not to be poor.
Fair enough. Works out. Nice, nice, nice. So today we're going to be talking about a bit of some toxic gym culture
Yeah,
and possibly divulge or diverge into some other topics from there. We're going to be talking about some myths that people kind of talk about on the internet, like working out, like exercising myths, like spot fat, reduction, or things of that nature. So let's just get right into it. So, what's your experience with toxic gym culture, first of all?
honestly, it's like such a big umbrella term because like it ranges from um, anything from like ego lifting uh, to I think like holding your body in a certain stance to make yourself look bigger or just a wide variety of things that you normally see in a gym that's normally with a bunch of guys. And I feel like you and I have both had very big similar experiences and honestly may have partaken in the toxic gym culture because, like, in that kind of environment, you act like a certain way, especially when all the testosterone is rolling. Your ego is the most biggest that it can ever be at that moment. You're just like, I gotta act this way, right? I think something that would probably be very familiar is like, let's say you and a group of guys are doing like the squats or a bench, right? And they're adding plates, and then you're like, well, I have to do the same amount of like weight they're doing, right? Or like they keep adding more and more, and then you keep pushing yourself, right? Because you obviously don't want to be the one that's gonna lag behind. And then like they do a weight that you can't fucking do whatsoever. Next thing you know, you're like, there goes my fucking rotator cuff right then and there when you're fucking pulling the fucking weight, dude. And like
Yeah.
I'm speaking from experience because like I was the one dude when everyone was fucking benching. I'm like, oh fuck me, I don't want to bench that. Or when everyone was squatting, I'm like, oh fuck me, I don't want to squat that. I want to deadlift that. But like you feel so pressured in that kind of like environment, right? I feel like a lot of people feel that kind of way. They feel like they have to like do a weight that they're not completely comfortable with or never really done before because like the pressure from being with a bunch of like testosterone ego filled guys sort of puts you in that like mindset that like, oh, I can't like fuck up right now, I have to do it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that for sure. Um, I don't know. I guess it's also just like part of the experience when you go to the gym. The whole shtick of like, oh, dude, I gotta lift just as much or more than my friends who are, or not even just your friends, like people who are just lifting in the gym because they're working out or it's a part of their program.
Yeah, yeah,
Like there's like this like compulsive feeling where you're just like, I have to beat him if I want to be the best. I gotta beat him. But it's just like, yeah, like you said, ego lifting and whatnot, what have you. It'll get you fucking injured. So there's that.
like it's like let's say there's this one guy doing like deadlifts, right? And he's doing like massive amount of fucking weights. You can hear the clanging of the fucking barbell and his plates hitting the floor as he's deadlifting. And then in your back of your mind, you're like, wow, that's good on him, right? But then like deep down, you're like, yo, I can probably do that. I can probably do that. And next thing you fucking know, you try deadlifting, even though it's not in your fucking like program or your workout for the day. You just try deadlifting, just so you can show that like I can do that. I'm that kind of guy. Like I'm a man, right? And the next thing you know, you're fucking pulling, and the next thing you know, you pull your fucking lower back or your hamstring because you actually can't deadlift that much. And not only did you injure yourself, you also hurt your fucking ego. And I feel like this is like, uh, it's it's very like dominant in a lot of like physical activity kind of areas because you're always feeling like it's a contest between you and someone else. It's always feeling like a contest between you and the other gym goer, you or your friend who can do much more. And I don't know. I personally think like it's very kind of like, well, it's fucking toxic because it sort of impacts your ability to perform and improve yourself as a person. You know that because I feel like you're trying to compete for the sake of competing because you don't want to be like you don't want to come off as lackluster. Like you're not strong physically, and I think that's for a lot of guys that's very important for them because they don't want to be like the weak one in their friend group. They don't want to be like the weak one physically. They want to be able to show that like I can do this. Like I'm like man enough to do this. And yeah, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this like type of thinking. But I can see the appeal why because you obviously don't want to be seen as the weak one because like especially guys will just like prey on you even more if you're like the weak one as well. In most cases.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would say it's necessarily toxic because I feel like this is something that everybody goes through at some point when they're like working out or like their first time going to the gym. Like, mm, something I would probably consider toxic would just be people who go up to like people and form check them right on the spot and like, hey,
Oh,
like
okay.
you're gonna break your back that way. That's a little toxic in my opinion. But uh, that being said, yeah, like I don't necessarily think um, like ego lifting or trying to impress other people is necessarily toxic in a sense just because I think it's a part of the experience. Once you start to learn that you don't need to ego lift,
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't need to do this. Like it's really just not worth it in the long run. So
Like I get
yeah.
your point. I don't think it's necessarily toxic to or towards others. It's more of like something towards yourself, partly because you're holding yourself at such a standard that you can possibly achieve. Um, but you know, you feel compelled to do it because like there's a little like social pressure, you know. And especially in the gym, like there's a lot of more eyes on you, right? Like if you're doing something, I feel like you get stared a lot more because either the guy's checking like what are you doing. I don't know, like do you look at other guys when they're at the gym like what are you doing like and see if they're lifting like heavy weights and you're like oh fuck he's lifting that much. I don't know. To me,
Yeah.
like a little pissing contest every time. Like before, when I used to go to the gym, like I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta be the alpha dog here for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. I look at other guys in the gym, but for a different reason. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah,
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. I totally feel that. Like, it's so impulsive for me to go into the gym and like rep out deadlifts that aren't even that heavy, and then just like look across the gym to see someone else deadlifting heavier than I am, and I'm like, well, fuck. Nice, you know. But yeah, I totally get that. So, yeah,
I think it's something that you just have to grow out of, really. After maybe like a
absolutely.
couple injuries, and then you just learn that this isn't what the way is. Like this isn't the whole purpose of lifting. Well, maybe if you're like get into like powerlifting, but that's a whole different fucking story. But
Yeah,
like it shouldn't be a competition with other people. It should be more of like a competition with yourself to like improve yourself as a person. But
I like that. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But like we're going back, that toxic thing you said when you go like form checking people.
like on the spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that I think that's like toxic, and they don't really realize it. I think it's mostly coming out of
yeah.
like ignorance because they're trying to be nice. They're trying to like like oh you're doing something wrong, right? Um, and I get that. Like I get the need to like when I see someone doing something that like could hurt them, I'm like oh I should like tell them about it. But at the same time, it's really not my place,
Hmm.
right? Like obviously, if you see someone doing something fucking dangerous, you're like, oh, don't be careful there. But like, if you see
Right.
someone just like learning how to deadlift and it's relatively lightweight, or they're doing bench, I really feel like you don't have to like oh yeah, you gotta clench your you gotta retract your scapula and put your shoulders down, and you have to like have your elbows at a 45-degree angle. Like they didn't ask that. Like you're not the fucking
Yeah.
PT. I don't necessarily know if I've like seen that frequently. I don't think I have actually. But I just have like this like lingering idea that there's someone out there that'll just fucking do that to you.
Yeah.
Like asking for it, like yeah, if they ask for it, but if they don't ask for it, it's just it's just really unwanted. Have you had
That
have
is
you had
true.
any experiences with that or no?
With like people coming up to me like, "Hey, you gotta
Yeah,
fix your shit." I haven't. No. To be completely honest, I have not. But like you said, there is just like this. I have this inkling of a feeling,
yeah,
just like yo, there's a fucking guy out there that goes up to people like, "Hey, dude, you better watch your fucking back, man. It's just gonna snap or whatever."
Yeah,
So
it's surprisingly weird. Like they, I mean, it's probably from like a position of like experience. They feel inclined to do it, and like yeah, you're trying to be nice, but I feel like if it isn't asked for or anything like that, then you shouldn't really offer it. Especially when it comes to like girls too.
absolutely.
When it comes to like a guy asking you like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that with your like when it's a girl. I remember watching this whole video about this like one guy that just like went to a gym and then when he saw like a girl doing an exercise, he's like, oh, you're doing it wrong. And the woman was like, what? And he just like kept persisting, like, oh, you have to hold your arms at a certain angle. You have to like clench your ass and you like straighten your back. And like, yeah, you're trying to be nice, but at the same time, it's just really fucking weird. Like to be approached by a stranger, and especially if you're not asking for help. And I don't know if like some people actually have like that kind of like thinking behind it, like, oh, it'll be fine if I just approach them and say like, oh, you're doing things wrong. I don't know. I I
Yeah,
I think it's just I think it's like one of the few gym behaviors that I think is really shit.
yeah, that's fair. Or you know what? You know what? Another probably pretty toxic gym like thing to do in the gym is like hogging all the fucking weights, like and having them in your area. Like you take all the dumbbells, you take all the plates, put them in your area, and when someone tries to pick them up, you're like, "Hey, I'm using those," and I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not
Yeah,
using them." Is the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Like if you have like a couple of dumbbells when you're doing like supersets, that's fine. But like if you have literally from fucking fives all the way to fucking 35s, like what the fuck are you doing, bro? And like you know like he took it away from the dumbbell area, right? Like he could have stayed in the dumbbell area to do his thing, but he took it away from the dumbbell area, brought it to his little corner of the fucking cesspool of the gym, right? He's cranking out whatever he's doing, right? And then you come up to him to ask, yo, can I use the 15s real quick? He's like, no, 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 I'm in the middle of a superset. Fucking starts repping it out, bro. And like, right, like it's insane. It's insane because you genuinely don't need that much weight if you're doing like a superset or anything like that, or if you're doing a pyramid drop set. But if you are, you normally, well, I would think you'd normally work out near the dumbbell area because you put them back and then take up the new ones. So then, like they're still available. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, I'll be honest. I took like a couple dumbbells with me to like my little corner of the fucking gym before, but I only took like at least like
Hmm.
2 or 3 pairs max.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Like,
as long as it's not the whole fucking rack.
it's even worse when like someone has like the fucking squat rack, then he goes to the lat pull downs, then he goes to the
Oh
tricep
my god.
extensions, and he's like he puts
Ah,
like one of his fucking pieces of like articles like his water bottle on one machine, his towel on the other machine, his pair of shoes on the other machine. So if you go there, he's like, oh, I'm using that. Like he's in the middle of his fucking squat set.
dude.
He's like, oh, this is my super set. I got a squat and then a fucking lat extension, like a lat pull down. And it's like, but you're not even done with your squats. Like, oh, I need it though. I need to reduce the rest time in between sets. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay.
Dude, oh my goodness. That's the yeah, that's actually insane how people actually do that. It's like they live there, you know.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
find their towel on the squat rack, and then you'll find their fucking their toaster
It's
on the
like
lat pull down machine.
everything's on every fucking machine, dude.
Yeah, god damn, dude,
Like,
these guys really out here, man.
yeah, like at what point is it too much? Like, he literally claimed every piece of fucking gym equipment, even the fucking plates. He's literally writing his
Yeah,
insignia on the fucking plates. Oh, don't use that. I need
you
that.
might as well just you might as well just shit on the fucking gym floor at that point and be like, "This is my gym."
Oh fuck, I don't know. Like
So
it's too much. It literally is. And like I think for some people it's a hard concept to understand that a gym is meant to be like shared because you're
yeah,
supposed to share it with other people. As much as that's a fucking shit thing to do, you still have to share it.
yeah,
Fuck though.
absolutely.
What's another thing that like just seems so toxic to you when it comes to like the gym?
Hmm.
I think like the one thing that annoys me, or it's not even toxic anymore. It's just a pet peeve at this point. Is is when like younger kids come into like the gym and start fucking around with the equipment. I don't know if you ever have that,
Mm,
but I think when
like
back in like high school when I was like working out. There's always like these like younger kids that come in, and they just fuck around with the equipment, start playing and shit. And I don't know, like
Like how young?
it's like middle school.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
like in middle school they're like ninth grade. They don't know what they're doing. Right? They're messing around. They're in your way. I don't know, man. I was just like, I think for me, I just really wanted to like get to point A, point B. But I think it was like just sort of hard because they just were like playing there more than anything. Like I get hanging out with your friends is
Mm.
one thing, but I think when it's like when you're just in the way when people wants to do things like if they're just fucking around in like the dumbbell area waiting for one of their friends to like finish and I would like to like move past them or something like that. I think I found that rather annoying. Or like it's just more of a pet peeve.
No, that's totally fair. I mean, I don't know what I don't think I've experienced that, but yeah, if I were to see some fucking kids like playing like some jump rope shit in the middle of like
It's like
the path where I need
yeah,
yeah,
it's more of just like if you aren't in the gym and you're like if you are in the gym work out, but if you're not working out then like go away.
kind of.
Like if you're just there to talk, like
That's toxic, dude. You're fucking
dude,
toxic.
leave my fucking pillar of iron, bro. My temple of iron, fuck out of here. I don't know. It's like if you're not there to work out, what are you there for,
No, that's totally fair. I
right?
mean, it's also funny because there's a personal trainer there, like a PT, a designated PT
Yeah,
there. I feel like he should be able to like tell the kids like, hey man, y'all want to work out or if you want to play, there's a playground downstairs. You know.
yeah. I don't know, man. Like if you're just there to socialize, like you're just obstructing my space.
Yeah, you
Uh,
sound like you shat in the gym floor one time, and you're like, this is mine, dude.
yeah, I was that kind of douchebag to be in the fucking
You're
gym,
that
dude.
guy.
Nah, nah,
Damn,
yeah.
an absolute animal, dude. Crazy.
Reps for days, dude. Reps for days. Superset.
uh,
No,
oh baby.
no. I don't know. It's just I think like going back to the thing, like I feel like the gym is just a place for a lot of like traits of people to be amplified, and I feel like it's a lot it's considering the environment, it allows for a lot of like egotistical kind of traits to be amplified. I think,
Yeah.
and I think it's sort of detrimental because you sort of get lost in that sauce. You know,
Mm.
you just like whenever I was in front of a mirror, dude, the only thing I was doing was flexing and looking at my chest. That's all I fucking did, right? It never like occurred to me that I have a back or I have legs. The only thing that mattered was what you could
Damn.
see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I didn't even fucking train abs because I thought they were like, oh, I don't need that. Just need chest. Who takes off their
Mm.
shirt these days, right? Like, fuck that.
Dude, true. No.
Train abs, kids.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds kind of toxic when people say it like that. Like they don't really like they only focus on one body part and they're kind of close minded in when it comes to other body parts. That doesn't sound necessarily toxic if you know what I'm saying. Like that definitely sounds um it's just like ignorance, you know?
mm,
Like but that's the thing though. It's like the gym, like going to the gym and working out and exercising, it's like its own experience because you get to understand that like it's not all about lifting big, it's not all about lifting heavy, and I think like especially you like you understand that uh I don't know kind of transformation if you will that understand like from realizing like hey it's not just about the bench. It's not just about the deadlift. It's not just about the squat. Or like if you didn't do those, it's not just about the bench. It's not just about like tricep extensions or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Like it's about having like sustainable ways of working out, and it's all about doing what you find uh, entertaining and at the same time beneficial to your body.
mm,
Like and I think you especially because like you've transitioned from weightlifting. I mean, this is also in part due to Corona, and you just have to
yeah,
um, like you had to work out at home. But even then, like you've transitioned from lifting at the gym to calisthenics, which I think is interesting to me because mostly I hear people moving from calisthenics to weightlifting, or people just going straight into calisthenics and just keeping it there. Um, like I don't know if you know. Do you know what's his name? Damn. Uh, Chris Heria,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I know,
fucking
I know.
yeah. Like he mixes in like weight training with his stuff, but like he's definitely like a calisthenics guy at heart, which is like sick. Because I think it looks cool. Calisthenics look cool, but there's also just like a almost like a healthier aspect to calisthenics, almost, wouldn't you say? Just in terms of how um, I think you said it once, humbling it is almost to do calisthenics because there's no you can't like pull up and be like, "Yo, guys, I pulled up. Like, this is so sick. Like, check me out." Like, it's not. You can't really ego lift to an extent.
Like,
On
yeah, like if you can only do four fucking pull-ups, you can only do four fucking pull-ups, right?
yeah,
Like, if you can't even like do a dip, then you can't do a dip. Because you're working out in fucking playgrounds or like calisthenic gyms, which tend to have very minimalistic equipment. So the bands or any supports you have to bring for yourself, right? Um, so even then, like if you wanted to work on your dips, you'd have to like use a band or you have to do a variation of the dip in order to like be able to do it sufficiently. Like if you want to do pull-ups, you have to like do it in a sufficient way. Like you have to get a band or you have to do like different kinds of exercises that will build strength in your back in order to allow you to do pull-ups, like maybe like dead hangs or maybe scapular pulls in order to help build your back strength in order for you to just do normal pull-ups in general and then add more volume overall. And it's sort of humbling because like if you don't know how to do it, then you really have to go from like step fucking one, right?
mm,
I think any meathead, and that includes me, can lift weights and move them around, right? Like you can literally get a bar, add weights, and you can start deadlifting then and there. And it really doesn't take much. So some people don't really try to learn about it, you know, because like it's like, oh, I can do this, then I can just keep doing this. But like when you have to find a way to get like a metabolic tension and stress in your hamstrings, like what are you gonna do? Like there's not that much calisthenics legs exercises, so some people have to like refer to getting creative. Like what I sort of used was like hamstring curls with a fucking like bar on the floor, and then I had to like lean down and then try to like push myself back up using my hamstrings, and like that fucking is a completely different experience from what I've had in the gym, right?
mm,
And it's sort of like an eye-opening thing because like you get to learn more and realize what you can do to get like growth and results other aside from like the doing stuff in the gym, you know. And
right,
even then, like it's like I said, it's eye-opening because you sort of realize that there's so much you have to work on, right? That reveals a lot of weaknesses because obviously you're no longer in an environment where you can just do, oh, just do bench press, squat, and deadlift, and I'll be cash, right? Like
mm,
no, you have to like realize that like there's weaknesses. Like for example, if you're trying to do a pull up and you can't even hold on to the bar for like less than 10, 15 seconds, then obviously you have to work on your foreground, your like forearms, your gripping ability, and as well as your back to maintain that posture for that long. Or if you want to do like other exercise, like an L sit, for example, you have to work on your leg, well, a lot of your mobility around your legs and also your core strength to be able to hold that kind of positioning. And then it sort of like
right,
takes you out of that kind of mindset where you can just do the same thing over and over again because you have to work on other parts of your body because they all work in conjunction, you know. And I think that's
right,
a relatively a good thing because it opens and broadens your horizons to see that there's more to life than doing a bench press, more to life than doing squats. Like, yeah, you can always progress with those exercises, but there are plenty of other exercises and supplementary exercises that help you develop your physique and your strength overall.
absolutely. Yeah, and you bring up a good point about calisthenics and how you have to focus on um, basically understanding that your body is like it's like a kinetic chain. I think
Yeah.
you've heard about
Mm-hmm.
that before. Like, you know, if there's like a broken link in the kinetic chain, then you risk uh, injury. You risk like not performing the exercise as properly or as efficiently as you would if you had like a stronger kinetic chain all around. And that's a good thing to bring up because when people do when people work out with weights like benching, deadlifting, and squatting, and so on and so forth, um, people like you said, people get lost in the sauce,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like they they really do. They get like very focused, they get dialed in, tunnel focused, like, okay, you know what, like next week I'm gonna lift like five more pounds, without understanding that there's a technique and there is a form that needs to be had in order to be able to progress not only more efficiently but also to progress faster and to progress safely. Because I think, I was definitely like someone who was like this. I want, or I still want, to increase my lifts as much as I can, as much as I want to, and as much as I can. But before starting like this program that I'm currently on, I was very fixated on just getting the weight up,
yeah.
and not like, yes, I had form in the back of my mind, but it wasn't at the forefront because I was just so fed up already. It's like it's been 2 years and I'm still not that strong. One, it's definitely genetics. It's fine. I mean, whether or not I'm blaming it on genetics remains to be seen. We'll see. But that being said, yeah, like I think at like starting this program, I just realized that one, my form was like way, way, way off for all three of my lifts, for the deadlift, for the bench, and for the squat. And even now, like I think my bench is still very, very off in terms of form. I'm still trying to find
Mhm.
like a tight position. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, like people just get so fixated on increasing weight and lifting big weight, big numbers in order to like, I don't know, feel good, to feed their
Yeah,
ego,
exactly.
ego lifting. That's all that's all powerlifting is. It's all ego lifting. And and like it's it's great to see that like calisthenics can like really help you see that there's more to just than just like lifting big numbers. Like you have to be able to understand that there are, parts of your, if there are muscle imbalances in your body, you need to bring those up. Things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like calisthenics is a whole other
It
thing,
really
in my
is.
opinion.
Like, you'll feel the muscle imbalances. You really feel them. Like, you can really feel like the significance, or if there's a significant muscle imbalance. You really feel it when you're doing like an exercise. Like, uh, my right arm or my right forearm tends to have a better grip than my left forearm, and I'm left-handed, so
Oh,
that's a whole, yeah,
annoying.
exactly, right. You'd expect the
Damn,
opposite.
that's
You'd expect
crazy.
the opposite. So, like, I notice when I'm doing inverted rows, or when I'm doing like dead hangs, or when I'm doing pull-ups, or when I'm doing chin-ups, I feel like my left arm it struggles to keep to hold on as long, right? Like it gets more tired compared to like my right arm, and then that's something for me to like focus on, because like it reveals that, like, there's a weakness in like the whole chain, right? And one whole weakness can sort of fuck things up. And like I've also realized like I'm very like tight. Okay, not in that way, but like my mobility is one thing as well. Like my my hip flexors are quite tight, and it's because like one, I sit around all day, so that's the thing I have to work on. But as well as like the fact that I need to work on more mobility. Like I'm a lot of more shoulder mobility, a lot more like lower back mobility as well. And like hamstring mobility also plays a big thing, because like when I'm doing like those hamstring curls, as soon as I go down and then try to go up, I feel like it's gonna fucking cramp on me, and I'm like, I don't want to cramp in the fucking part, dude. So
Yeah,
you can really feel things that you never really felt before in the gym. Like it makes you feel a certain type of way that's different, and it opens your eyes, and it makes you realize like you have to work on things. Like I'm like, oh, I thought, like I'm like,
absolutely.
oh, I'm in okay shape. And then next thing you know, when I fucking try calisthenics, I'm like, all that progress, like 2 years of like lifting, for what? Me to suffer?
Yeah.
And
Just fixing my
it's
chair.
just like it's eye opening, yeah. And then it sort of takes you out of that kind of mindset that you can just like, oh, if I bicep curl all day, I'll be fine. I'll jack ass biceps. Like I've sort of come to realize like my biceps, I don't really give a shit about them anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's more.
Hold up, I gotta use the restroom.
Right.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
And we're back from piss break. Where was I?
Sorry.
Where was I? Um, yeah, I think I was on something about like along the lines of just figuring out weak links um, in your physique.
Like,
Just
yeah,
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 and I think that's yeah, I think that's something that I think it'll take some time for like people who like go to the gym to realize, especially because you have to subject your body to different kinds of stimuli as well. So maybe swapping around exercises sort of allows them to like realize a lot of new things. Like I know that you can implement a lot of more like overhead pressing to help you learn more about your physique. I think I was watching this video on how which because if you overhead pressing sort of like puts you in a position where you realize you can't actually lift that much weight overhead wise. Um, because if you're always like lifting, like you're doing bench press or decline bench press or incline bench press, you can obviously log a lot more because you're at a static position and you're not having to use your stabilizing muscles when you're on the bench as much as like if you're standing and doing an overhead press. And from what I hear, if you incorporate more overhead press into your training, you'll not only grow like your delts, but also there'll be more growth in your upper pecs, in addition to helping your stabilization and within your back as well.
yeah,
So things like that can like do wonders, just depending on like how you want to like pursue certain kinds of um, changes in your physique or whatever fitness goals you have. You know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, overhead pressing is a great exercise. It's a shame that no one really does it, or like standing overhead
Yeah,
pressing, not like seated.
yeah, standing overhead pressing.
Because yeah, because yeah, you just have to squeeze your ass, dude. You gotta tighten up your quads.
Yeah,
You gotta tighten up your core, and then you can lift.
yeah.
you
Like
know?
you use a lot just to keep yourself in like upright position, and then not only that, you have to like fucking push weight with while being that tight as well. And then you sort of like it'll be challenging for a lot of people because
Yeah,
it's a lot of activation, but you know it's good. Challenge is good. The whole point of going to the gym
challenge
is
is
getting
great.
challenged, right?
Absolutely.
Gotta.
Oh, that's pretty toxic, actually. Okay, not you, but what what I'm referring to is people like telling you to push it all the time. I think that's kind of toxic. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, I think definitely people should push it in the gym to a certain extent. Like but there are people out there who seem to believe that you need to go to the gym 7 days a week, and in those 7 days, you need to be able to go to failure every single
Okay,
time.
yeah, that
And
makes
it,
sense.
yeah, right. And then it's just like it's not conducive to growth. You're not letting your body rest. And to the people who, for some reason, are able to grow in those 7 days a week that they're
Not
working out,
natty,
it's kind of sus,
not
man.
natty,
That's
not
kind of sus.
natty.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I get
That's
that.
all
I
I'm
get
saying.
that. Like, if some gym junkie tells you 7 days a week, 2 times a day, like, the fuck is wrong with them, right? Like that much, like going to like exercising is bad for you because you're not but you said, you're not obviously you're not letting the muscles have time to like rest, and that's like one of the most important things because that's where the gains happen when you rest. Um, and it's quite detrimental because like I know you can get sick, like your muscles will break down and that can actually make you feel sick if you do that.
Yeah, yeah,
So you just fuck up your progress and then you just feel like shit afterwards and you'll be in quite a lot of fucking pain as well.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but like I am an advocate for like you training harder than last time. Shout out to our
Mm-hmm.
boy Greg Bouchette. But
Yeah, shut up.
like the thing is like it's obviously training harder like not like stupidly, right? You have to think about these things. Like if you're able to like bench, like for if you're a beginner, like two 20 pound dumbbells, right? Like for your like when you're on 1 week, right? Your goal is to at least increase that by like half of like by like 2.5 pounds, or at least like 5 pounds within like the next couple weeks. So it's like all about
Yeah,
like the steady progress, and not like oh if you
yeah.
do 20 pounds 1 week, the next week you're gonna be like hitting 35s. Like no, like that's unrealistic. Like you're training too hard, right? It's
yeah,
all about like the small increments, like training harder than the day you trained previously, but not at a rate that completely fucks you over, you know.
Yeah.
And like that sort of reminds me of like another gym thing that's relatively toxic is like the fear of cardio.
Mm. Yes.
I won't lie, I was that guy. I was that guy.
Oh man.
I am like, nah, bro. Yeah, like, if you see me doing like running, bro, I'm losing all my gains. Like that's how I literally fucking sounded. Like when I warmed up, I'm like, I'm not fucking running. Like I don't want to run. Cause like it's just like the idea like, oh, if you run, you're gonna lose like your fucking gains, bro. Like I don't want that. And like it was such a fear for me because like I really didn't
Mm.
want to lose my fucking gains. And I think that was just because like of my ignorance, right? And I think like the
Mm.
worst part is like I'm like, oh yeah, I don't do cardio because like I lose gains, so you lose gains if you do it. And then other people thought like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do cardio. And I'm like, looking back at it, I'm like, oh, I'm sort of perpetuating the same nature that I sort of followed by. That fucking it sucks because you should do cardio, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely, no matter what cardio you do fucking cardio as long as it gets the heart pumping, right?
Yes.
And I think like that's pretty like toxic kind of thinking and mentality, especially in the gym, right? Because you just think like, oh yeah, you lose gains. Like yeah, it's inevitable that cardio in some cases will make you uh like not grow as much, but it's a definite trade-off compared to like dying at 50 because you didn't run a single bit for like the next like last like 10 fucking years of your weightlifting career.
Yeah.
And there's like so many varieties of cardio that you can do that won't make you lose as much muscle as you think. And it's just all about finding that balance and finding what makes you like something you are willing to do and enjoy, right?
Mm.
And even then, I feel like doing more cardio helps you grow more muscle as well, just because you're able to like intake more oxygen and have a better heart rate, so you're not as likely to be as fatigued. So like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, man, whenever I think about like that kind of dumb thinking I had back when I was like lifting like 2 years ago, I was just like, I'm such a fucking dumbass. But I feel like it's a necessary thing that people have to go through. Just realize the dumb shit they did in the gym, so they don't do it when they don't like kind of live with it anymore. It's like I run at least like twice a week now, because well, partly because like it's I don't want to die at like 60. Like I don't want to be like out of breath when I'm like walking upstairs when I'm 40, right?
Mm.
Right. And so like that's something reason why I think cardio is a necessary thing. Got to work on the heart health, right? Even if you can't like flex
Absolutely.
your heart, if you can't show off your heart, it's still important to work it out, right?
Uh,
I don't know. That's just the heart.
no, no, dude. I 100% agree. Cardio is very, very, very beneficial to the human body. Like not only because okay, so I do agree with you that the whole mentality is kind of toxic. Like saying like I don't want to do cardio and it'll destroy like my muscle or
Mm,
whatever. Like I do think it's toxic, but I only think it's toxic because it's information that people really push around for some reason.
yeah,
um, which is unfortunate because like that's just not the case. Most people are misinformed about that. Well, I guess bros at the gym, like gym
yeah. It's
bros,
all the
are
gym
very
bros,
misinformed about
the
that.
bro
It's all
science.
yeah, all the gym bros, like they're very misinformed about that, about how cardio it will destroy your gains. Like it's a muscle eating machine. Like you do
Yeah,
cardio, you run, dude, rip, goodbye. You're gonna be a fucking stick. No, that's not the case. Cardio is very beneficial because it one heart health. I think that's the most obvious one.
mm,
It's very good for your heart. Second, it helps flush out any kind of metabolites that are like that remain in your system after working out. So I personally, I would say that cardio is a great way to flush out any kind of like bad shit in your
yeah,
system. Um, it helps get the blood flowing to. So let's say you have like a small injury, like you sprained something, like your shoulder, or like you sprained like I don't know, your fucking bicep or whatever. Like it's just good to get the blood flowing in there and get like fresh blood, fresh oxygen to the damaged muscle cells and whatnot. Um, and second, yeah, cardio does absolutely help with performance in the gym. It helps you push out reps. Uh, it helps your cardiovascular system work more efficiently. So when you're pushing that 1 rep max, you'll actually be able to push it
Mm.
and not get a heart attack at the very last like inch. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, cardio is insanely good. Granted, I haven't been doing it as much, but I'm starting to reincorporate it again. Just like 30-minute walks on the treadmill, or just walking around in general. Just something to get the blood flowing, to get the heart pumping. Because let's be honest here, any kind of cardio is good.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
yeah,
the amount of benefits from cardio is fucking insane. And like you said, it flushes out like a lot of like metabolites. Like even like what if you do a hard exercise on like Monday, going for like a brisk run or a very like fast paced jog the next day really helps with like muscle pain. Because one, you're getting a
yeah,
lot of good blood flowing, so that's already gonna help speed up recovery. And like I don't know why I have to make this obvious, but like cardio helps with your sex life. It really does. So like if y'all guys, you know, too early, just like it helps with that. It helps with that. There are studies. There are studies. So like plenty. If you really need another fucking reason to do cardio, I think that's one for you. But yeah, it's something that is really just the misinformation about it. Like it's always so perpetuated in like the gym culture and the bro culture and like the gym. That's like the gym bro shamans like don't do cardio. Like it's gonna kill your gains. Like literally as much as buff as that dude is, right? He obviously has like some other factors working there and why he's fucking humongous. But just sometimes it's better not to
yeah,
listen to some people like that. As good as some people's physiques are, like you have to do cardio because no one wants to like struggle going up the stairs at like 20, right?
yeah,
No one.
absolutely.
But yeah, it's just so weird how like a lot of misinformation kind of things, like especially on like a lot of like the forums where the bros come together and they start sharing shit and how they think like a lot of like bro science as it's called. It's a whole little world on its own, and I think that it's a lot of like myths when it comes to like being in the gym. Do you have any like bro science myths that you believed when you started out and you like sort of figured out they were bullshit later on?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had so okay. So I think the first one was what was it spot reduction, like in terms of fat.
Mm.
I think yeah, even before starting going to the gym and like starting my whole fitness thing, before doing that, like it was just for some reason like in my mind that if I did sit-ups, it's the usual suspect. Like you do sit-ups,
Yeah.
you're gonna lose all that stomach
Yeah.
fat, dude. Don't worry about it. Like you're good. Um, and dude, I don't know. That's so odd to me because I feel like maybe that should be something more. That's more like taught, I guess, in schools. I feel like because that would be, I don't know. Like I just feel like people need to be educated more in terms of how fat loss works and weight loss. But that's a whole other thing entirely. But yeah, that was probably my very first like bro science. Well, not necessarily bro science, but like fitness myth that
Yeah.
I believed in
Yeah.
and that I took with me even into the start of my fitness journey. And it's just it. I don't know. Looking back on it now, it's kind of cringe,
It's
man.
kind of
So
cringe. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have this as one of their very first like bro science myths or like misinformation. Like even I believed in that kind of thing because like if you do like sit ups or ab work and shit like that, it'll slim you down at the waist, right? But little did I know that you just lose body fat in various places at the same time, right? So like you no matter what exercises you'll do, you still like slim down at the waist and slim down at the face, and then some other places will be harder to like burn fat with because your body just burns fat everywhere, not in one singular place. Like if you think just doing like bicep, if you do like doing chest, right, it's gonna make your chest look like less fat or like remove your man boobs. Like no, it's like the total effort you put in the gym will reduce the overall fat in your body, which will somewhat like trim down in like the more fatty places of your body, but not just one particular area, right? And I'm like the amount of sit-ups I've done thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have a fucking six-pack ab because like it's gonna be no fat there. Like, it was a fucking hard wake-up call after like a couple
yeah,
months of like working out because like I lost a lot of my weight in like my face area, but not really towards like my waistline just yet. So it's
yeah,
I think it's quite a big disappointment for like a lot of people when they find that out. And I do think it's something that they need to know from like the very get go is that you lose fat everywhere, not in just one particular place.
Yeah. Dude, it's like when people find that shit out, like spot reduction doesn't work. It's like finding out Santa wasn't real. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's so depressing. Like oh, that doesn't work. Well, fuck.
It's really
So, and
disheartening if you're like working out for like the
yeah,
very first time as well. Because maybe you think like,
yeah,
oh, I need to lose a little bit of that cake on the side, and then
mm,
you realize like, yeah, you looked a little bit thinner, but not like the way you wanted to look. It's because like you lose it all around, not in the one singular place. It's like the one dude
yeah.
that pumps out like 100 reps of sit-ups on a weekly basis just to like slim down at the waist area. That doesn't really do anything for you.
Mm. And like I don't know, it's also genetics, like
Mm.
with fat deposits and whatnot. So yeah, but there's that. I think another bro science myth for me at least was about fuck, what was that? Man, it was right there too. I just forgot about it. Hold on.
I think while you think about it, I think one I had is always train to failure. Like you got to keep
Mm.
training to failure, right? Like if
Yes.
your muscles fail, it's gonna grow. And like I think for like the first few months or like of like weightlifting, I've thought to like always train to failure and shit like that. And it was really shit because like I was just sore all the time. And I didn't feel like I was growing or anything like that. Just because like obviously like we said before, you're not giving your body like ample time to rest, and it's just because you're just overworking the muscle, and it's really not healthy. Like I'm speaking from my experience, it's really not healthy for like how you feel overall, and it's really demotivating as well. So I think
Yeah,
like that
it
was like
is.
another like big um like bro science myth that I had when I started like my
Yeah,
fitness thing as well.
absolutely. Because like you can say that you're working hard, but for some reason the progress isn't showing up,
Mm,
and that's the most demoralizing thing. It's
it
like
really
you're working so
is.
hard at the gym, failure every day, day in day out, but it's like there's no progress to be had, and you're like, what the fuck? I'm sore as shit every day of my
Mm.
life, and there's no progress. Yeah, that's fucking annoying. I do hate that, and I was a part of that. I think at one point, but yeah, like you said, after a few months of that, like it's just you realize it's highly unsustainable. Like you can train for 7 days a week, that's totally fine, but you just have to like change up the intensities for each workout, like from workout to workout.
Mm.
You can't have all workouts be 100% intensity. Like you have to have one that's 100% and then one that's lower than that for to allow for some recovery, and then you can go harder again, and then you can drop it back down again, and then you can go full blast the day after that, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. The going back to the bro science myth that I was thinking about, it was falling into the fucking traps of the supplement industry. Man, that shit sucks, dude.
Oh God.
Holy fuck, man. They peddle some really bullshit products, dude. I'm not even joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
BCAAs, hydrolyzed protein, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah. I
I was like, dude, I bought a tub of hydrolyzed protein, and I'm like, yo, it's time to get jacked. I didn't get jacked, dude. Look at me. What the fuck, man? Holy shit.
fucking scammed so hard, dude. Honestly,
Shit sucks.
like I'll say it now. I don't think you necessarily need like any whey supplement or not like any protein supplements whatsoever. As long as you have like a relatively good diet and you're just eating enough for what you require to like whatever your fitness goals are, right?
Yeah.
Like even me, like I was just a fucking protein fiend, right? I
Yes.
eat, like I'm like having protein shake for in the for my breakfast. Then during class, I'd have a protein shake before lunch, have lunch. Then I work out at the end of the school day or do play sports, and then I have another protein shake. Then I have dinner. Then I have another fucking protein shake, and I'm like that's like 5 or 6 protein shakes in a single fucking day. One, I'm burning through protein like it's literally fucking like rock, dude. Like it's coal. I'm literally burning through coal at that point. And also because like
Yeah.
I'm just having too much protein on a daily basis, and the amount of calories alongside with that, that's something I didn't need as well. And this was like on the lower end of like things that they're fucking peddling, right? But like on the higher end is like the fat burners, Like take the
Oh my
caffeine
god.
pills to like burn fat and shit like that, dude. Like that kind of shit you don't fucking need, right? You don't need like the
You
caffeine
don't.
pills. You don't need them fat burners or the things that you like. If you take a fucking pill that's supposed to make your heart like pump 20 times faster for the next 8 hours and it makes you sweat like a motherfucker, like that's an issue. And I think um the one fuckhead that done this was Sean, right? If you remember from our
Yes, the
podcast,
man.
yeah, I remember the time he told me where he took a fucking fat burner pill, right? And right before he
Yeah.
went to bed, and for like the next 6 hours to 8 hours, he was sweating. His heart was pumping, right? He was just like drenched, right? And and at one fucking point, just like, do you really want to do that? Like, and then the amount of stress that would put on your heart
Oh my god.
and like all that caffeine and like fat like
Yeah.
supposed fat burning like just because it's elevating your heart rate and your like body internal body temperature, like at what cost are you going to do that for, right? And like the fact that they peddle
Yeah.
this off like fat burning results like guaranteed and shit like that, like someone that's coming from like a position of being overweight or like new to whole like fitness, they're like, oh yeah, I want this, and they're thinking they're going to get that easy way despite it not even working.
Yeah.
You're wasting cash and then it's just, man.
Absolutely. Like I was a victim of that. Like I don't even know if I can say victim because even I at one point recommended a few supplements to my friends.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, you should definitely get this fat burner, dude. Fucking works, dude."
Yeah.
Uh, but it's just not the case. You don't need any of those supplements. Yeah, I think caffeine supplements can definitely help, like
Mm.
pre-workouts and fat burning supplements. They can help with getting into the gym and like getting motivated because some people do find it difficult in the mornings, especially to get up, go to the gym. And to that extent, I would probably just say have some coffee. you know, that's pretty much the only caffeine supplement that you really need, and it's not necessarily as bad as some of the pre workouts out there that are some of them are just really bad for you.
Yeah, like there's like some of them that are like what 250 milligrams of caffeine in a single scoop, two scoops, so that's 500
Yeah,
milligrams.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like what 10?
I mean,
That's a fuck ton of coffee.
it is well. It's actually I think two cups by the standards of I forget what fucking organization that was, but they said that's like the average amount of caffeine an adult should have is around 365 milligrams.
Mm.
So it's definitely well within that range, like 250. I mean, 350 is cutting it close. Like that's like 10 milligrams off. But yeah, like I like if you need the motivation to get into the gym, like well, first of all, you should probably reassess how hard you're working out, like whether or not you need to dial back the intensity. But that aside, let's say your workout intensity is fine and your sleep is okay, but you still need like some motivation. Yeah, just have some fucking coffee. Like
Mm.
that's totally
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, because like you can control how much coffee you take. You can stuff like that. But in terms of other supplements, you really don't need them. Like it's just the fitness like influencers out there who peddle shit like that. Like they take scoops of protein. They're like guarantee like, oh shit, dude, look at all this fucking muscle I've gained through all this protein. Like man, stop. You don't need that shit
You
at
really don't.
all.
You really don't.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's just it's the whole thing, huh? But yeah. To wrap things up, because we're cutting it close to time.
Mm.
To wrap things up, yeah. Do your research. Study about this shit beforehand before you start like believing certain things that people will say to you.
Yeah.
Because in this world, anything fucking goes, dude. Like you can go up to the most jacked guy in the gym and you ask him for some tips, and he'll probably just tell you like, yeah, just work out like 3 times a week, because that's what works for him. That may not work for you. So
Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
yeah,
So everyone's like body composition
absolutely.
is like just different. Like what works for one person could work for you, but you may not enjoy it. Um, and it's better to tailor things around what you want to do. Like it's always important to have like a goal in mind as well. Like that's the one thing I want to reiterate is having like sustainable goals that you're able to achieve. You know, and if it ever comes to like always you can always like look to getting like your own personal trainer and things like that or get coaching, which Benjo. Mm,
Guys, uh Instagram at Gym with Joe Boys.
Exactly.
I'm a personal trainer on there. If you
He's
need
certified as
anything,
well,
hit me up.
fellas. So like that's the whole thing as
Yeah.
well. Is just if you don't want to put in the kind of work or you think it's overwhelming, you could always go professional, get professional help and find ways to like actually do things like that. But even then, like you could still do it yourself. It's
Yes.
definitely not gatekeep. Like you definitely don't need someone professional. Like you know, do things yourself, and it's always like a trial and error kind of thing. But I think it's also like learning experience. But once again,
Yeah. Yeah.
hit up Benjo, Gym with Joe. But like aside,
Yo.
yeah, like I think the one takeaway from this is just like always be skeptical when it comes to learning about like the gym. Try to like verify things. But aside from that, it's just like just do your research, right? Just do your
Yeah.
research and don't be a
Yeah.
dick.
Do your
Don't be a dick.
research.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree. Don't be a dick.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, if you are going as far as to uh, into like looking for a personal trainer, like at that point, I mean, definitely what's up. But at the same time, at that point, you might as well just do your own
mm,
research because uh, one, it's free. Second, there are a lot of resources on YouTube.
yeah,
Too much, to be completely honest. Like it's too good to be true, but it's there. So yeah, just do your research. Be skeptical. Keep an open mind, and work hard, but not recklessly. So
that's true.
yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening,
Yeah,
guys. So
we'll
see ya.
catch you in the next one.